Dzień dobry. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. My name is Carlsson. I'm an entrepreneur and work as chairman of the board of Esri Polska. The topic I'd like to cover today is really about the work that you do and relate that to a really important issue, sustainability. Our world is increasingly being challenged. There's overpopulation, there's biodiversity being threatened, flooding in other areas. That's a challenge for us, all of us, as individuals, but also for your organizations, because they have to adapt to these challenges and be part of the solution. So, with these challenges, I'm still very optimistic and positive, because the evidence is clear for me that we need to do everything we possibly can to analyze, to collaborate and share for enabling a more sustainable development. At the same time, our world is undergoing a radical digitization. We're basically measuring everything. We're looking at the Earth from satellites. We're using drones to collect data. Internet of Things, IoT, is providing data. All of that together is like a fabric of Earth. And that's an asset. That's a digital asset that we can take into the GIS platform, like we've heard from Dean. So if we see the problem, I see the solution. The solution is what we call the science of where. So with the science of where, we say that it's more important than ever to realize this and provide better understanding as well as better decisions. So with these solutions of a more sustainable development, we're building a fundament for the good of life. Really exciting. Now that you may say that's a high aspiration. Is that really true? Or is it a vision? No. See, this is where your work is the proof. Your work is the proof that we're already addressing these issues and solving these issues. And it's tremendously rewarding to support you and follow and learn more about the work that you do. To see how you collaborate and improve areas of national security, environmental challenges, or local communities. So there are hundreds of examples, and I would like to focus on some international examples to sort of give you inspiration ideas, because at this conference you'll have Polish examples. So see these international examples as feeding in some thoughts and ideas of what's possible. So if we start with environmental modeling and analysis, we can do analysis of pollution, like in Moscow River, or noise, or light, or landscape analysis. Within natural resource management, you've done a lot of work, and here we see in Latvia how they use it for improved forestry planning, or identification of soil potential in Germany, or even vineyard water irrigation in California. There's actually some very good Polish wines that we tried last night, so maybe it comes here too. Another favorite of mine is a company I worked with for over 10 years, Ikea. They make furniture, flat furniture. It's a Swedish entrepreneur, and they started using GIS about 10 years ago, a small group of 8 people, for tracing and following timber. And this group of 8 is today hundreds of users in the Ikea organizations. Not only in forestry, but many, many other areas. And they use 1% of all timber harvested every year, annually. That's a tremendous amount. So Ikea is an exciting example of how they use GIS for more sustainable Ikea, but also for their brand. That's how they started. If we look at transportation field, GIS is used in literally every mode of transportation. If it's pedestrian, or railway, or in ports. And they analyze where perhaps pedestrians intersect to make safer pathways. But they also make models and improve transportation. And every time we do that, we become more efficient, which is more sustainable. In engineering and public works, of course, you who work with water management know that GIS has been used for a long time. But today, it's used in airports, in work orders, for active daily work. In land information, GIS was early used for the cadastre. And the cadastre and the property real estate is really the foundation of society for bank loans and transactions and ownership. But what is really interesting now is the kind of analysis that we do of this information. We're taking it one more step. As well as in this example in Holland, in the lower left corner, interagency collaboration. Within utilities and telecommunications, GIS has been used in all kinds of fields for a long time. But I think what picks up our eye is the example in the lower right. This is an example of augmented reality. If you play Pokemon Go, you know what I'm talking about. It's the ability to look at the world, the map, at the same time presenting what's underneath the ground, the pipes, for a better understanding. It's making the reality even stronger. We see examples within business analysis and location intelligence that GIS is used to pick up the best sites, like this example of Scania, that they use for identifying the best service location. Each one is a tremendous investment for Scania, and they do it in a standardized way, increasing service as well as viewing competition, all within the same platform. But we can also do automatic routing, like in Iceland or Denmark, as well as doing demographic analysis of banking. Moving on to public health and demographics. There's a really interesting example where we see illumination of things like health and social service centers in Finland. Or upper right here, they're looking at demographic modeling to show well-being. So it's not so always numbers and figures, but it's also being used for increasing how our communities are perceived by our citizens. Within public and safety and security, GIS has had a long tradition, and we're making communities safer with these examples. And today there are examples of machine learning for crime prediction and learning and improving and then communicating to societies, both in London and in Rio de Janeiro. It's really cool examples. And of course, in responding for and preparing for disasters, a long tradition as well. And we can see everything from volcano monitoring to damage assessment in Sri Lanka. And moving on to urban design and planning. This is an exciting field because the work is really about creating a more sustainable society, identifying how the green areas collaborate with the city, or how the communities belong together with infrastructure, change detection. And a new chapter has opened up over the last years, and this is about portals. It's about open data, enabling citizen engagement and collaboration. And here I could not resist from using a Polish example, the GIS portal. Thank you, Janos. And also this portal of Krakow. These are examples of portals that open up data for citizen engagement, for analysis, and better decisions. And last, look at the lower right-hand corner map. That's a map produced by crowdsourcing. It's a map from Democratic Republic of Congo. It was produced in a matter of weeks by crowdsourcing. So instead of spending millions for acquiring data, the map came alive. And this is for polio, immunization, eradicate programs. Really cool. That's sustainability. So we're seeing evidence that GIS is enabling smarter cities. We often tend to talk about the technology, the Internet of Things and the drones and so on. But smart cities is not about technology per se. It doesn't make them smarter. They become smarter when you do the work of combining and analyzing and improving. So for instance, when you work in a city and make that city more efficient, perhaps you evaluate where to plan the next daycare center and discover that you do not need to build it. That's a really sustainable improvement. So in using these solutions, you make the city more attractive. You attract more people, increase the tax base. When you increase this tax base and use a smart GIS, you also use those tax money very wisely. Or you could decrease the taxes. It doesn't very often happen yet. I'm looking forward to that. But you see how GIS is enabling smarter cities, taking care of what the output of the data and the technology. Have you seen this before? This is the 17 Sustainability Development Goals for the UN. These SDGs have been accepted by literally every country in the world, including the European Union. And they're used, there's actually a number of measurements underneath each one of them. Ireland is actually producing a GIS solution to enlighten that. And each one of them, if we work on, let's say, a good health and well-being, like the analysis we saw, we tend to have a positive influence on other factors. When we ensure a green infrastructure, we can also create temperature collectors within the city. So we have to view sustainability in a holistic and a system approach. Sustainability is not just about the environment. It is about social and economical aspects as well as environmental. Jack Dangerman actually he said a lot of really fantastic things. One he said was, today's businesses and governments require new ways of thinking. Our users, you guys, are leading the change using mapping and analytics to empower digital transformation, accelerate understanding of big data, and democratizing technology. It is an inspiration to see how many different organizations are applying the science of geography and the technology of GIS to gain insight into their data and reveal hidden patterns and spatial relationships. So we're really, in essence, contributing to sustainable development and the future in a very positive way. So the science of where is about positive change. It's taking your work from producing data in an authoritative and qualitative way, visualizing and mapping, analyzing and modeling, then planning and designing, all on this same platform, reusing the work that you've made, effort into data collection, and then enabling better decisions, and hopefully go into action. This is a complete circle. I'm not sure if you work with something called Kaizen. The Japanese are very good with this. This is called continuous improvements. We talk about problem, or PDCA, problem, plan, do, check, act, sorry. And this supports the full circle of Kaizen. Interest and notion. So with this platform, it is a technical platform, but you collaborate on this, managing, analyzing, and applying geographic information. So, as well as being a technical platform, it is a practical platform for the systems of records, whether in small cities, organizations, or nations, or mammoths like Gugik, who produce the topographic mapping as part of the planet. But GIS is also the system of engagement. Dean spoke about this. At heart, it's a system of insight, where we can do analytics, look at relationships, and see things in whole. We can approach problem solving in a holistic way, because the platform integrates people and processes and the data around them. So isn't that a really interesting notion, that we're working with all the dimensions of information and they're using the power of where to integrate them? See, this keeps me awake at night and gets me up in the morning to hear about your work and the contribution that you make for sustainable development. So in our field, our science of where is providing a fundamental digital language, more understanding than ever, more important than ever for understanding and managing our planet. That's Jack Dangermond. So data is brought into insight by GIS for better decisions. And GIS provides the opportunity to create a positive change. And the solution for a more sustainable city, organization, nation, or for us as individuals. That's awesome. So to finish off, what should we do next? Well, we're here to learn from each other. Do that and share. Get inspired and inspire others. And then allow us to support you. We're active in research and education. We have a Polish team here, which is fantastic, as well as a global team. We get involved in innovation, You can basically get ArcGIS for home use for free. It's almost for free, just so you can test and evaluate and innovate. But we also support innovation hubs. We support incubation hubs. And I, as an entrepreneur, will actually get involved in supporting these startups and new ideas and concepts, just like we get involved with our users in every way. And lastly, acceleration, business growth. We have a global business partner program that will allow you to use our development tools, as well as a global network and a user base of 350,000 user organizations collaborating. So with that, I want to say thank you. Dziękuję.